We have not done a Beyond the Camera in a little bit, and so I'm so excited to be back and doing one. We have a wonderful guest today, and we're going to be talking about Pinterest. All right, let me turn that music on. That's going to drive me crazy. All right, I have to admit, until I met Erica, I thought Pinterest was just like the place you go find recipes. And maybe you do holiday decorating, or maybe you look at decorating your house or decorating ideas. Mostly just recipes. Maybe some clothing. I thought that's what Pinterest was, and so I've kind of stepped away from it. And I've heard people talk about Pinterest, and I kind of went, I don't even know what Pinterest is all about. What's all the fuss? And then recently we were on some other calls, and a couple of you have said something about no, Pinterest has changed. And I'm like, what? So I reached out to Erica and I said, we got to talk about this. We got to talk about how Pinterest is more than all of those things, that coaches and entrepreneurs are actually using it to grow their business. So please put your hands together and help me join Erica to this wonderful little show. So glad to have you. Thanks for being here, Erica.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. All right. So why don't we do this? Start with just introducing yourself. Who are you? What do you do? How did you get into Pinterest?
I am Erica Armstrong, and I'm a Pinterest and sales funnel specialist. And I got into Pinterest because I had an Etsy shop.
Okay.
And I was looking for ways to market it. And I found Pinterest. And I had never even used Pinterest before. So I'm one of these researchers. So I tried to learn everything I could about Pinterest. And I was seeing a lot of conflicting information and old, outdated stuff. So I did what everybody does, is I went and found me a Pinterest coach. And I found one that I really liked, and I learned all I could, and I started applying this to Pinterest for my Etsy shop, and I started getting a lot of traffic to it. And I noticed more so than Instagram or Facebook. And then I found myself in Etsy Facebook groups answering questions that people had about Pinterest.
I'm sure. Yeah.
And then they were like, well, how much do you charge to just do this for me? And I'm like, wait, what? And so that's how my Pinterest business was born. And I have been helping people grow their Pinterest and their business ever since.
Wow. Okay. So let's jump in and talk about, like I shared, my opinion of Pinterest is outdated. We're using Pinterest for more things. How is Pinterest changing? How is it different than what I have in my mind of just this place you go to find recipes?
Okay, so we know that Pinterest is a search engine. It's not social media. So I think that a lot of people lump it in with social media and everything, but at its core, it is a search engine. So people go there to specifically look for things, recipes, decor, all that.
Yeah.
Well, Pinterest is becoming a more shopper-friendly place. So people will go there for something in particular. So let's say that you want a website and you don't know anything about building a website. So you may go to Pinterest. How do I build a website? Oh my, this is too much for me to do. And so you're clicking and you're going through the recommended pins, and then you're going to land on a website designer. And the best thing for coaches to do is have a blog, because your blog is your sales page. So like I was talking to a lady that was a website designer one day, and I said blog, and she's like, oh, I don't know what to blog about. And I'm like, well, what's your most frequently asked questions? And she's like, well, people ask me, why do I need a logo? That's a blog post. Why do I need branding colors? That's a blog post. And then essentially that blog post is going to sell your services for you. But when you have a blog post, you're going to have more URL links, not just your service pages. And the more URL links you have, the more pins you can create, and the more chances that you're going to be found on Pinterest.
Okay. So, keep going. I'll save my question.
So I was just going to conclude with that, the way that it's changed is the mindset of people. They're kind of shifting from more of do it yourself with the crafts and more to looking for people that offer that, whether it's the finished product or it is a service that they do for you, whether other than you doing it yourself.
So so let me back up. So if I don't have a blog. Mm-hmm. Should I start my blog first? And then as my blogs come out, then I create pins? Or yes. Okay, so blog first, then pins. And you're basically just pinning to your blog. That's how people find you.
Yes. The more content you have to pin,
Yeah.
the better.
The more content you, so I can't just go and do one blog and put one pin out there. It's probably not going to get me anywhere.
So the good thing about Pinterest is you can make multiple pins per blog post. You just pin them to different boards, and Pinterest does its thing and it pushes it out. The more pins that you have to put on a board, the more Pinterest's algorithm can say, okay, this board is about this, and it's got these keywords, and it needs to be pushed out to these people. So you're more apt for your ideal client to see your pins. The more
Got it. Okay, got it. Got it. So how, if I am a coach or an entrepreneur, I want to grow my business, I want to get more clients. How can I use Pinterest to do that? Or is it as simple as what you described? Like you just put pins out that go to blogs and that's how people just find you?
I wish. Like everything, there is, a way that you have to learn how the platform works. Just like Facebook, Instagram, you have to know what the algorithm is wanting. So with Pinterest being a search engine, you need to optimize it for SEO. So you're going to need to know who your target audience is. And then you're going to need to do keyword research around that target audience, so you know what keywords that they're looking for. And then you optimize your account and you use those keywords. And then you have to pin consistently. So you can't pin one pin and then 6 months later pin another one and expect things to happen. You don't have to pin 20 or 30 pins a day. I always tell, my clients, whatever you can pin for your content. So if you don't have a lot of content, you can only do 3 pins a week. That's great. If you can pin 2 pins a day because you have a lot of content, that's great too. But you want to pin that quality content instead of just, slapping pins up and not taking the time to optimize them and things. And then you kind of want to have a strategy. You want to be able to look at what pins are performing well and create more pins, because that must be a popular topic. Your audience is needing that. So then you kind of give them more of that.
Got it. Got it. So if I were to do one blog a week, let's say, and that one blog a week, I'm going to create multiple pins off that one block, putting them on different boards. That's enough to get started.
Yes.
Now, granted, you're right. It's got to be keyword searchable and all of those things, which is where somebody like you comes in to help with those things, right?
Yes. I'm going to tell you my 2 favorite things about Pinterest. This is what really sold me on it when I was looking to do it for my Etsy shop. I am an introvert. I don't like doing Facebook Lives. I don't like putting selfies out or whatever. And on Pinterest, you don't have to do that. You are solving a problem for that person. So when they come to Pinterest, they don't care about what you ate for lunch. They don't care about what you're doing. They care about how you can solve a problem for them. So that's what you're going to pin about. The other thing is that pins can last for years.
I've heard that. Yeah.
Whereas Facebook and Instagram, you put a post up in a couple of days, it's gone. Your Pinterest pins are going to grow. As you feed the algorithm with more content, the pins that you already have, they're going to keep getting pushed out to your target audience. So I have a client that has a blog post from 2019. Her 30-day analytics to this day, she's getting over 150 outbound clicks to that blog post.
Wow.
So it's really mind-blowing because it's more evergreen than any other platform that's out there that people typically use for their marketing.
Now, the pin itself, is it just a graphic? Or because I know I've seen a lot more like short form videos on Pinterest.
Yes. So you can use both, but you really want to use both of them together. That's the best success that people's had that I've seen, because your static pin has more longevity than the video pin. The video pin is really good to getting more views faster. But I don't know if you remember, several months ago, they had the idea pins, and that was the big thing because they're trying to be like Instagram and have the, like the stories across the top. And those were the big thing for a while, and they've done away with those. And so now your options are a static pin with just the image, or a video pin with the short video.
With the short video. Yeah. Okay. Very cool. Very, very cool. The thing that has got me so interested in this is the longevity piece that you were just talking about. Just that you can pin once and that pin will work for you for years and
Yes.
years and years. Yeah. Okay. So if you are somebody that has a blog, man, you need to be on Pinterest, right?
Oh yeah.
For
And
sure.
and two, like, people will think, oh, it's going to be too much work to, to do a whole nother platform or whatever, but you can repurpose things. So let's say that you have a blog post, or you're offering a service now and you have a service page or a freebie, and you make that post for Facebook. We'll turn that graphic into a pin.
Yeah.
And then the only thing you'll have to do is go back to your keyword list and then write up your description so it's optimized for Pinterest.
Yeah.
But once you get the flow of that, then it's easy peasy. Or
And I
if
imagine if you're creating that graphic in Canva, do they have a button where you can resize it just for a pin? Probably so. Yeah. So it's easy, right? Okay. You were going to say something and I interrupted you. Keep going. What were you going to say?
So like if you know that you're going to create a blog a week, and so you create that blog and then you just go ahead and create your 5 pins, because you're probably going to promote that blog on Instagram and create your Instagram graphics. So you just create your pins for that blog, and then you can even upload them all at one time. And so you've scheduled them out. So you pin to one board, and then like 5 days later, you're going to set it to pin to your next board, and then 5 days later to your next board. And so you've got content that's just ready to go, and you don't have to worry about it pinning.
Okay, let's talk about boards for a bit. So when you say there are different boards for coaches and entrepreneurs, what might that look like? Can you give us an example?
Okay, so let's just continue on with the website designer. Okay, so her services, I mentioned a blog about branding and a blog about logos, and then maybe she has something on the importance of fonts. I don't know. So she would make a board that would be around the logo. So why do I need a logo? Or easy logos for business owners, or tips for your logo. She would do her keyword research around what someone may be coming to Pinterest to look for. And then the same thing with her branding colors. How to select branding covers. And then she would make a board on that. And so let's say that she wants multiple boards about her branding, the blog that she wrote about the branding colors. Then she would use keywords that are just a little bit different. So why do I need branding colors? 5 tips to selecting branding colors. And so, so forth and so on. And those would be her boards around that particular topic.
So almost like boards are almost like categories, but they're boards I've created for all of my content, and then I'm just putting a pin on a different board. Okay, I gotcha. I'm following you. And for those of you that are joining us live, if you've got questions for Erica on Pinterest or how to use Pinterest, please put them in the comments. We'll have time to take some of your questions here in a little bit. Okay, so let's go back to I know I'm so fascinated by all of this. I feel like there should be questions that I should be asking that I'm not thinking of, Erica. So here's the one I'm going to ask you. I know we didn't plan for this, so sorry. How does somebody get started? If somebody's watching this show and they're like, I should start on Pinterest, how do they begin?
Business account.
Business account. Okay.
If you have a personal account, you can convert it to a business account if you have business stuff already on there.
Okay.
But if you don't, then I would just create a completely new business account.
Okay.
And then think about your target audience and do the keyword research. And then look at what content you have that you can pin. Now, you don't have to just pin blog posts. You can pin your service pages, your freebies. You can pin to Instagram. It'll take a little bit longer for your pins to grow for Instagram, but you still can pin to that. YouTube, if you have a YouTube channel and you have videos, you can pin to YouTube. So just look at your content and get those keywords around that content. And then I always tell people to start with what is the most popular. So if most of your clients come to you for one particular thing, then get that content out there first, because it's going to take probably for a brand new Pinterest a good 6 to 8 months before you really start seeing an uptick in those impressions and the conversions to the outbound clicks. So it does take time, but it's going to benefit you for years. So that's
Got
a
it.
trade-off.
No, that's a really good expectation though for people. This is not a I'm going to go and pin tomorrow and all of a sudden I'm going to have 1 million customers. It takes some time for all of it to get up and going.
Yes, but a lot of people are coming from Instagram and Facebook where they're used to posting something and getting or TikTok, they have that expectation of, well, on my other platforms, get all these hits right off the bat. What's wrong with my Pinterest? And it's just knowing the mindset that it is a long-term marketing platform. And so it's like your business. It's going to take time to get people over there and for it to grow.
But the long-term payoff is there because that one pin that you do is going to perform for you for years.
And it's searchable on Google. So, think about when you go to Google and you type in like a recipe for chicken noodle soup, a lot of times pins will pop up.
Yeah.
So
yeah, very interesting. Okay. So if somebody out there needs help, what are your services? How do you help people set up their Pinterest? Or maybe it's not even a setup. How do you help them get a Pinterest page or account that helps, that works?
Well, I have a lot of free resources and tips in my Facebook group, which I know that you've linked.
Yeah.
But I offer services done for you and DIY. So I have a Pinterest membership. It's called Pin Suite, and it's basically a Pinterest course, but it has that Facebook component to it where you can go in and ask questions and get help. And then I offer done for you services as far as account setups and monthly management. I offer Pinterest audits. So let's say you've been pinning for a year and you're not getting anywhere. I'll take a look at your account and tell you areas that you need to, make some adjustments to and improve so you can start, reaping the rewards of Pinterest. And then I can pretty much customize and do anything and help any way, that you need it. I'm really flexible.
So if somebody just needed help with the whole keyword research and trying to figure out how do I make sure that my pins are targeting right? That's you could do that service too. If somebody wanted just that.
Yes, I do offer, and I do custom keyword packages. So like, I don't just say, here's 50 keywords and hope some of them work for you. Like I go in the account, I have a questionnaire, and then I go find specific keywords for your niche and for your business.
Awesome. Very exciting. Okay. So I know you mentioned your Facebook group. So why don't we start with that? Tell us a little bit about inside your Facebook group. What is it all about? What can somebody expect if they were to join? And by the way, for those of you that are watching, whether it's live or pre-recorded, the link is up above. Go ahead. Tell us about Pinterest for Business Success.
So it's been around for about 4 years. So there's lots of things in there. I try to do weekly tips. I have like the Tip Tuesday, and pretty much if someone asks a question, I'll turn it into a graphic and pin it because other people are going to have that question too. So I have a free guide on how to get started with Pinterest inside that group. You can ask questions inside the group, which to me is the big thing.
Yeah.
And then updates. So if there's a big change on Pinterest, then I tell it to my group. There was a Facebook glitch last week. I went to go log on to my Pinterest and it said it's been deactivated. And I was like, wait a minute, I didn't do anything to get deactivated. Well, it was a glitch. So I go in the group, I tell everybody, hey, I think there's a glitch. Is anybody else? And there was a lot of people. So it kind of calmed the freak out of everybody. Oh no. And so then I told them what to do to get their Pinterest back quickly. And my Pinterest was up in like 3 hours. They had given me my account back after I appealed it. So just tips and resources and answering questions.
And then you also have a website, which is also pinned up above. And I know I spent a little bit of time looking at it in preparing for this. You got some really good resources on your website too.
Thank you. I try. And it really forced me into blogging because when people have a lot of questions, then I turn it into a blog post.
Yeah.
But there are, like I said, I don't think my keyword research is up there, but I try to help anybody that comes to me and says, hey, I have a problem with this. Can you help me? I try to accommodate. So, and actually I'm a big DIYer, and I did my first website. And then I realized that I had to actually hire somebody to make it look good.
Yeah.
So that was my first big lesson on, And I was like, this is so nice. So sometimes you just got to ask for help. But
And
yeah,
that's the perfect setup for, like, if you're considering and you're wanting to do Pinterest, hire an expert, work with Erica and get some help, because you've been doing this for a while now. So you know what works and what doesn't. And it would go, I would imagine it can go so much faster if you know what you're doing.
it does. Yeah. She had my website done in like 3 days. And I thought it would have taken me like, well, I had it for like 3.5 years and still didn't like it. So, but, oh, I lost my thought.
That's
Oh,
okay. It happens
it'll
to all
come
of us. It
back.
happens to me all the time. All the time. Okay,
Oh,
let's do this. Go ahead. Go
no,
ahead.
I was gonna say, also, you will get tired of going around on YouTube trying to find updated information, and that's another thing, is that I keep a pulse on information directly from Pinterest, so I know that the advice that I'm given is up to date and accurate. That's what I
Yeah.
was gonna say.
That's so true of many things, right? Yeah,
Mhm.
I was something was going on with Facebook. I don't remember what it was, and somebody said, "Well, I went on, I googled it, and they're saying this was the problem." I'm like, I saw that post too, but that was from 3 years ago. That's not
Yeah.
current. So you do have to be careful of that stuff. Okay, there's a question come in. Let's see if we can't take this question. So hi Nadia. Nadia has two different businesses. One is about self love, and the other is about skincare. So can she duplicate her blog post and put it on two different websites, or does she have to create two different blog posts?
Do you blog posts or pins or Pinterests? So, I don't know if Google would like the same blog post on two different websites. As far as Pinterest, I get asked a lot about two different businesses. Um, if your businesses are related, like if it's a niche, so if you use skincare as part of your self love business, then you can have one Pinterest.
If they're completely separate, then it should be kept separate, is what you're basically saying. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So I guess the question, Nadia, is the blog post, are you creating separate blog posts for your two different businesses? And you're saying, should you put, yeah, I think we need more clarification, because I'm scratching my head on this one too. Just, we want to make sure we get you the right answer, Nadia. So share a little bit more for us so we can help. Okay. Erica, thank you so much for being part of this and for coming on and sharing your wealth of knowledge and for inspiring all of us and doing it on Easter weekend. So I so appreciate that. Thank you so very much. If anybody has questions for Erica, even though we're about to wrap up the show, please drop them in the comments. I'll make sure we get answers to anything that you have. She is part of my group, so she'll see them as well, but we'll get you answers if you've got them. And more than anything, join Erica's group. It sounds like it's a wealth of information, and all of the wonderful things that she just talked about. I'm gonna be joining, because I'm super curious about this for sure. Okay, I haven't heard back from Nadia, so or there's not another comment from Nadia, rather. She answers more information, Erica, I'll make sure that you have it. So anything else that you want to make sure that we talk about Pinterest before we go? Anything else that was on your mind or that you thought of that we haven't covered?
Well, I could go on all day about Pinterest, but I think that I've covered the basics to get people started and information, so they would be interested in using Pinterest.
I think so. I know I'm certainly, my curiosity is certainly piqued. That's for sure. I love it. I love it. Okay. Thank you for being here. Everybody else, thank you for tuning in live. I appreciate all of you being here. Those of you watching on the replay, be sure to ask your questions and we'll come back and get them answered. And for those of you, it is Easter weekend as we are live. So everybody who celebrates, please have a wonderful Easter. Enjoy your family. And we will talk to you all soon. Bye, guys.